I'm Jesse Lubinsky, host of the Partial Credit Podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Coming up on episode 195 of the House of EdTech podcast, it's a little bit of a different episode. I found two awesome things since the last time I recorded an episode, and I just want to bring them to you right now. Strike up the band. Welcome to the House of EdTech. My name is Chris Nesi. The House of EdTech launched in 2014, giving me the opportunity to speak with teachers, leaders, and creators so you can more effectively integrate technology, strengthen your pedagogy, and have more confidence in your classroom and school so you can make an impact. Get involved with the podcast by visiting my website, chrisnesi.com. Using technology isn't difficult, and this is where it begins. This is the House of EdTech. And as I said just before the music started to play, this is a bit of a different episode. I don't want to say that this is like a quick hitter, but I was really just inspired by a couple of tools because between episodes, what I do is, whether it's on my phone or when I'm on my computer, I will find tools, I will read articles, and I will bookmark things. I throw a lot of things into Google Keep that I might consider recommending or talking about in the future as I do episodes and I plan for these things. And I just have a couple of tools that, in essence, this is like two recommendations in this episode. So it's the featured content. Certainly, I'm going to give my thoughts on a couple of things. I do have a just give it a try thing that I do want to talk about in this episode. But pardon me for being rude first. If you are a brand new listener of the podcast, welcome. I'm glad you're here and you're making House of EdTech a part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. And if you are a returning listener, of course, as always, welcome back. So the first tool that I want to talk about is what I think is the easiest GIF maker there is. And I don't say that lightly. And as I get comfortable here in my chair, hopefully you're comfortable too, wherever and whenever you're listening to this. Now, I was just on the most recent episode, as I'm recording this, of Jake Miller's Educational Duct Tape podcast. And he is the educational GIF guy, although we had our fun and I'm more of a team GIF guy. And that's okay. That's okay, Jake. Don't worry. We have talked in the past about how he makes his GIFs, and I'm going to go with what I say, the right way. So Jake has talked about the tools he uses to make his GIFs and how he very easily creates the screencasts and he puts them out there. And it's a very easy way to put out tutorials and how-tos, and it doesn't take or require a lot of production value. You don't have to worry about how you look. You don't have to worry about the sound when you are making a GIF. And I found a new tool I think makes it even easier. So if you've been afraid to dip your toe in the water of, or even try to make your own GIFs, these animated images that don't have sound, and you want to be able to try and do this or have your students try and do this, well, let me talk about LICEcap. It's LICECAP. And you can find it at, I'll be honest, I don't really know how to say this. So I'm going to, it's Cockos, COCKOS.com/LICEcap. Sorry if I sound like I'm in middle school. So I'm going to include a link to it in the show notes and you will see a picture of a chicken. LICEcap allows you to create simple animated screen captures. It is available for Windows. It is available for Mac, and it is also available on a Linux operating system. And it's a very simple program. I'm using it on my Mac. And what happens when you open LICEcap is you get a window, and I imagine it will look the same way on a Windows computer as well. You get a window, like you're opening a program, and except you can see through it. And you can see other things that are on your computer and open on your desktop. And you can scale the size of the window by grabbing the corner or grabbing the edge. And I'm doing this live as I'm recording this. So I'm doing play-by-play of LICEcap. There's also the option to set your max frames per second or your FPS. I did an experiment and I put one out as a tease to this episode and that I wanted to share it. And I have it set at 20 frames per second. You can lower it to 8 or 9 frames per second, I guess. You can also custom type in the dimensions. So the one I had put out before recording this episode was an HD dimension video, 1920 by 1080. You can scale it to any dimension you want. And whatever is inside of the box, rectangle or square that you make, is what's going to record. And there's a simple record button that you would press and then a stop button. And it's that simple. And you will, when you're done, you will have a GIF. So you can have a little tutorial. And while you're recording, you can move the window to different parts of your screen. You can move the windows on your computer to different parts of the screen. So you can really, highlight and focus on a certain area of anything that's on your desktop. And I don't know how much easier it can be. So you don't need any screen capture software. What is Jake? Not even Jake, but what other people, basically whatever you might be already using, you should definitely consider giving LICEcap a try. I think it's going to be something that's easy for me to do. And, really, it doesn't take much time to try and record a quick tutorial video that has decent production value without opening up any type of memory hogging program or anything like that. It's intuitive. It is flexible. It is lightweight, but it gives you high performance functionality. If you go to cocos.com/LICEcap, you have access to download it. Again, it is for Mac OS or for Windows or for Linux, and it allows you to record directly to a GIF or an LCF file. I personally do not know what an LCF file is. Maybe that stands for LICEcap file. And it allows you to move the screen and capture frame while you're recording. You can pause and restart the recording, and you can also do that. You can also insert images. You've got a global hotkey feature. So Shift and Space will toggle between pausing and recording. And you can also adjust the maximum recording frame rate, as I mentioned earlier. And that allows you to better manage your CPU usage. It's got a basic title frame with or without text. You can record the mouse button presses while you're doing it. So if you are doing some type of tutorial, LICEcap is going to let you do that. And those mouse clicks and where your mouse is going on the screen is going to show up real nice. And you can also display elapsed time in the recording. So it is really, really simple. And again, I will include a link to LICEcap out in the show notes at chrisnessy.com/195. And that is the first tool that I wanted to bring your way right now. And if you do start to make any GIFs, please tag me on Twitter. I was using this right on my Mac computer, and I tweeted out my image. So I was able to save it right to my desktop, go right into TweetDeck, and get that right out there. You could easily upload it right to Google Classroom or your class website or some other social media platform or another place where you can insert a GIF file. And I think it is that easy. Now, by contrast, the other tool that I want to talk about is and has nothing to do with making GIFs. Although this might be something you want to make a tutorial about, and it is podcast related. And this is brand new. This is hot off the press. And I think I have found for me, and maybe for you, what I think is a great, easy solution to creating podcasts in the classroom. I think this is, so far as I've been playing with it and showing it to people in the last couple of weeks and doing my own House of EdTech experiments, this is, I think, better than Soundtrap. I think it is a fantastic tool that is going to be valuable in your classroom for podcasting. So I'm really trying to build up to this, and I hope you can feel the suspense. And you're also getting excited and you're thinking, just tell us already what the tool is. And it is called Podcastle. You can find it at its website, Podcastle.ai. That's Podcastle.ai. And Podcastle is a web-based audio recording podcast production tool. It allows you to record high quality audio. You can interview other people. It has a web-based editor. Now, I will throw it right out here in the beginning that I dig, and I typically don't do this because I don't know. Honestly, it's not something I care about. I want to put the best tools in the hands of my students. So I actually took the time to dig into their terms of service. And according to their website, you should not be under the age of 13 using this. Although I'll be honest, I don't see why younger kids can't use this other than the fact that, then you're getting into, what data is being mined from their accounts. But then I go back to, if you have them use a tool that's on the web and you're using their school email accounts, there's no data behind that, right? So it's not something like I don't know. That's a topic for another day. Maybe I need to have a conversation with somebody. Not sure, but definitely check this out for yourself. So what it does, if you go to Podcastle.ai, you can log in, you can, basically get started. And how it works is you can interview people. So you can record conversations with other people and you can bring in, I believe, up to 10 people and you will get 10 individual audio tracks. So each person will be recorded on their own track. And I've been saying for years that if you want to get anybody podcasting, you want to make your life easier when it comes to editing. And that's recording in a multi-track setting. And I have been hard pressed to find a good multi-track recording tool that is web-based. So again, this will work on your Windows computer. This will work on your Mac computer. But if you're working with students and they've got Chromebooks, here is a web-based solution that's going to let you record the multi-track. Now, here's where it's better than Soundtrap. On Soundtrap, you can kind of go back and forth. So I'll record a piece of audio and then somebody else can record their piece on their computer. And you have to kind of go back and forth. This tool, Podcastle, lets you do it in real time as if you are on a call with somebody. So it's an audio only call. So you can have up to 10 students on their own Chromebooks logged into a call and the host can hit record and you're going to see everybody's little icons and everybody can talk and it's going to be recording and capturing everybody on their own track when all is said and done. And then you can use Podcastle to do the basic podcast editing. Okay. Now, if you use it for free, and again, there could be a cost associated with that, and I'll go through this in a second, you are limited as to what you can do. But if you want to do some basic multi-channel recording and be able to do some basic editing and produce an MP3 file, this is going to do it for you. So they've got 4 plans available. Here's what you get for free. So this is everything, and I'm reading right off their site at podcastle.ai/pricing. So for free, you get everything you need to start your podcasting journey for free. It's $0. It's free forever. No credit card required. And for free, it includes high quality audio interviewing capabilities where you can have one host and up to 9 additional people that'll be recorded. You get editing with separate audio tracks. You get auto saving using cloud save technology. You can manage unlimited projects. You get unlimited content publishing. You get access to their advanced sound editor. You also get 1 hour of transcription and or text to speech. So that's pretty cool. You also get something that they call Magic Dust that you can use 3 times per month. And from my playing around with this, Magic Dust kind of makes the audio sound a little brighter, a little nicer, and you can use that up to 3 times per month for free. There is also an extension that you can add to your browser, and it will convert any page into a podcast. What does that mean? It will transform text on any website into compelling audio podcasts super fast, and it will save you hours of reading time with their Chrome extension. So it'll basically take the text of an article and turn it into audio so you can listen to web articles. So if you have students that have difficulties reading, or maybe they want to have that audio along with reading, here's a tool that can help them do that as well. And so they've got a great Chrome browser extension, or any browser that is built off of, what Chrome does. All right. If you wanted to pay, For $11.99 a month, you get everything in the free plan, plus you get unlimited audio processing with Magic Dust. You get access to their music library with up to 7,000 high-quality songs. You get 10 hours of transcription. You get the high-quality downloads. So there's a lot that you get. I'm not going to go through the rest of the pricing because you can go to Podcastle.ai and check out their pricing. There is also an iOS app, which could potentially serve as the ultimate mobile studio. And they bill it as the world's first professional quality audio recorder for iPhone, available now. So you can get the Podcastle app and you can record anytime, anywhere. But again, as I'm looking at this, and I've been playing with this for a little over a week, and I don't think my excitement is premature. I played with it with a couple of my colleagues during our prep time, and I think this is a real easy to use tool. They were very impressed with it, and they believe that their students would also be able to easily use this. And I was talking to some gen ed teachers and also some special education teachers that have previously been hesitant to do anything with podcasting because of some of the barriers that they perceived to exist, even though I am right there to help and support them if need be. But they were all on board with checking out Podcastle. So again, it looks fun. It's easy. I will include a link out at chrisnessy.com/195, but the tool is called Podcastle. You might even consider recording your own lectures or just kind of have it recording stuff in the classroom, which I'm actually going to talk about in a second. So you might find this tool valuable. So once again, if you've been hesitant or not sure how to bring podcasting into your school or your classroom and what type of technology you would need, this is a pretty freaking cool tool, right? I'm looking at the page on their site with their app. And if you've been on any apps like Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces, if you're using it on mobile, it kind of looks like that, except you're going to be able to be recording and you can have these live conversations and then you can produce it out as a podcast. So if you were going to do any app smashing, you could record the audio with this, and then you could use another program to bring in music. If you're going to use the free plan, you don't have access to their music, but you want to add music to the podcast. Take the recording that you get from Podcastle, bring it into GarageBand, bring it into Audacity, bring it into another audio editing program and add another track and add your music and do it that way. So the more I learn about this and the more I share with you, the more I realize we are ever reducing the excuses for having our students create content. And again, something like Podcastle makes it real easy to do that. If you are working with students younger than 13, well, you check the terms of service and maybe you'll be able to find a good workaround for your students to be able to kind of get their feet wet and try podcasting in your classroom. So other things I'll throw in here related to the podcasting. If you are interested in learning more about how to podcast, I did do multiple episodes a couple of years ago. I believe it's episodes 96, 97, and 98 of the House of EdTech, or it's 97, 98, and 99. It's a 3-episode series about how to podcast. I talked about most recently again with Jake Miller on the Educational Duct Tape podcast about how to podcast for anybody. All right. It could be, and again, here's the funny thing. I learned about this tool having already recorded that conversation. So that's how fresh and new this tool Podcastle is. If you want to talk to me directly, send me a DM on Twitter at Mr. Nessy. You can email me feedback@chrisnessy.com. I'm more than happy to have conversations about how you can get started with podcasting yourself. Or if you want to talk to me about podcasting in your school with your students, I already had a conversation with somebody who listened to Jake's podcast and reached out to me. And I was like, let's get on a call. Let's make it happen. So all you need to do is ask. I'm more than willing to help you out and get you or you and your students creating the content. If you have any more questions, reach out. Again, I gave the email, gave the Twitter. If you try a Podcastle for yourself, let me know what you think. Okay. Something I will throw in here as I'm recording this is the House of EdTech Discord community. I've gotten a lot of new people joining over the last few weeks. Come on out, be a part. There's some great questions, some great conversations happening. So actually, let's open this right now. Let's see what's been going on in the Discord community. Let's see. We've had some new members join, so I want to give a shout out to @CEE. Let's give a shout out to Mr. Jiggyfly, MRJGYFLY, new member to the House of EdTech Discord community. So we got some great questions that are coming in there. We got, let's see, got an EdTech help channel. Shout out to Brianne May. And she's been doing stuff with Google slideshows. C was looking for recommendations about tools that they could use for making good-looking short instructional videos. So I had recommended TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Canva, and Adobe. So certainly come out and be a part of the House of EdTech Discord group and community. Go to chrisnessy.com/Discord. And if you're thinking, wait, Chris, didn't you used to have a Facebook group? I did. I don't like Facebook for this purpose. So I have more control over the Discord community. So I have taken my ball and I've moved to Discord. So there you go. Before we get out of here, let's take a look at Just Give It a Try. No transition music. We're going to plow right through this. And I want to talk about this idea of creating videos for students who are absent. I have had mixed success with this, but it's so easy to do that I can't see myself not continuing to do this. And I know I've spoken about this on Podcast PD in the last couple of episodes. And what I'm doing is every day for students that are absent, I'm recording a video using Loom, Loom. And you can use Loom for free as an educator. If you go out to, I think it's Loom app. Let's go right here in the browser, Loom app. What's their website? Loom.com, Loom.com. And it is basically video messaging for work, for school, super easy. It's like Screencastify, only better. So definitely check out Loom. That's the tool I use to do this. But the method here, what am I doing recording these videos? Depending on what I do in class on a given day, and again, I'm doing this every day, and I'm block schedule, so let me just give you all the details. So about middle of the day, I'm keeping track of who is absent, and I set up an email where I put in my students who are absent. So I'm BCCing all the absent students, and I don't care why they're absent. Could be out of school, could be suspended, could be in a meeting with a guidance counselor, whatever the case may be. If they're not in the room, they're absent, but they need to know what they missed. So I record a video using Loom. If I need to demonstrate something, I will show in Google Classroom, or I will pull up the relevant Google Docs or whatever we're doing on our computers that day. I make it part of a screencast, and towards the end of the day, I will send it to all the students that are absent. And I think it's easy to do. Again, when I say mixed results, I have students who, for some reason, they never check their email, but I still send it. So basically, it's kind of like CYA. So if somebody ever asks, what are you doing for these students that are absent? Here's what I'm doing. They get the email, and all I can do is encourage them to check their emails. I can't make a kid check their email when they're not in school. And I'll be honest, I have a tough time making them check their email if they're in the room with me. But what I wanted to share here, the point is, consider adding these daily videos. And actually, when I say daily, that's a lie, because I don't make a new video every day because I'm block scheduled. So a class that I see on Monday that I don't see until Wednesday, and then I see a different group of kids on Tuesday, I'll make the video on Monday, and I'll use the same video, and I'll send it to the kids who are absent on Tuesday. So I'm basically making one video every 2 days and just emailing it out to the groups of students that are absent on a given day. I would love to know what you do for students that are absent. Are you using education technology to make their life easy when they're not in school, to make your life easy when they're not in school? I know I've done an episode before with Nate Nagel about what he does when he's not in school as the teacher. So this is a little bit of a different spin for the kids who are not in school when you are. So what are you doing? Let me know at Mr. Nessy on Twitter, feedback at chrisnessy.com. And let's wrap up this episode of the House of EdTech podcast. First, thank you for listening to this episode of the House of EdTech. If you're not subscribed or following, I hope that you will continue to make House of EdTech a part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. Thank you for listening. Keep the conversation going. Shared a couple of tools with you today. Would love to know what you're doing Again, if you're podcasting in your classroom, you have other tools that I don't know about, let me know. What are you doing to make screencasts? What are you doing for your students that are not in the room? How are you supporting them? What are your tips and tools that you use to support them? Let's keep this conversation going. Leave a comment on the show notes. You can go to chrisnessy.com/195. Leave a comment, and you can do that for any episode. It doesn't have to be a current episode. I will get notified. So if you're listening to older episodes as you discovered the podcast recently, leave a comment on any show notes. It's chrisnessy.com/the number of the episode. If you want to send feedback, you can go to chrisnessy.com/feedback or chrisnessy.com/voicemail. I would prefer voicemail because it's an audio podcast and I would love to include your voice here on the episodes. If you enjoy the show, one, good, thank you. I designed the show so you can enjoy it. But you can do me two favors. Number one, tell somebody else about the House of EdTech. Word of mouth is the best way to share a podcast that you love. Number two, consider becoming an awesome supporter of the House of EdTech. I am very thankful for the ongoing financial support of the following people: Anthony Arnault, Dan Gallagher, Carlos Garza, Peggy George, Jeff Herb, Mike Messner, Matt Miller, JP Presevento, Patty Reefus, Lori Simpson, and Kyle Wilcox. Thank you so much for all of your continued financial support. And if you want to become an awesome supporter, go to chrisnessy.com/awesome. I would love to have you be a part of that. Also, I would love to have you a part of the House of EdTech Discord community. chrisnessy.com/discord. I don't talk about it anywhere else than here on the episodes. Although, should I promote it on Twitter and other places? Let me know what you think. Should I open the floodgates to the Discord community? I don't know if I'm ready for that. The next episode is going to be episode 196 as we march closer to episode 200, and that is going to come your way on February 27th. Until next time, thank you for learning with me, and remember, using technology, it isn't difficult. Just give it a try. One last thing I want to throw in here at the end. Obviously, I did this episode much differently than I normally do, and if you listened all the way through, you are somebody whose feedback I definitely want to hear, so let me know what you thought. Less transition music, less segmenty. I'm not saying I'm going to do all episodes like this going forward, but this is all an experiment, so let me know what you thought. Take care.